Om Shanti. It is really disappointing to listen to the news that a 22-year-old girl from Iran had to face death in police custody following her arrest for not wearing hijab properly. Though the police says she died of heart attack, but her family members say that she was tortured in the van and in the police station. So 48 hours after the announcement of her death, not only in Iran, several countries showed their condemnation to Iran government that employs moral police that actually disturbs the peace of the common people in the name of protecting a religion. Despite the strict religious laws in Iran, Iranian women came to streets, started burning the hijab, cutting their hair as a protest against the government. Several countries joined the protest to show their support for Iranian women. It would really be appropriate to recall the stabbing of Salman Rushdie just a month back. He was stabbed by an Iranian youth. 30 years back, a religious Iranian leader issued a fatwa for Salman Rushdie for writing a book that is making fun of Islam especially the Prophet Muhammad in an indecent way. As a result, Salman Rushdie spent a decade in hiding with strong police protection. But after 30 years, when no one expected, he was stabbed severely in a public event. So many Iranians and other Muslims all over the world have publicly said that they would definitely have Salman Rushdie dead. Salman Rushdie spent most of his life saying that some sect of Muslims have this false sense of having to protect their religion. Now the same false sense of having to protect their religion puts not only Salman Rushdie's life in danger but also the life of Iranian men and women in danger. As God always says, all religions will fail in the end because they were all created by humans. God has nothing to do with any of the existing religions. If any existing religion has the word of God in it, then there is no reason for God to come in the end as predicted by Bible and Srimad Bhagavad Gita. But they have wrongly mentioned the name of Jesus Christ and Sri Krishna in the place of God. So not anybody who takes birth from a mother's womb can be considered God. So it is only God that comes in the end and not any humans, because no human can save us from all the sufferings that we are enduring now. The religious fanaticism of Iran not only poses danger to Salman Rushdie, who actually opposes this religious fanaticism, but also it poses danger to its own citizens who actually supported religious fanaticism. So that is the fate of any path created by humans. It is bound to occur sooner or later. So by opposing them, you will be facing the consequences sooner, and by supporting them, you will face the consequences later. But anyway, you will have to face dire consequence when you hold on to the human path or when you oppose the human path. So the real safety lies in staying away from all the paths created by humans. So whether it is Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, atheism, communism, all these isms are created only by humans. So they will definitely end up giving sorrow to those who follow them and to those who oppose them. So though it is disheartening to see the death of that 22-year-old Iranian women for wearing hijab loosely, but it is more disheartening to hear about the death of some 75 people due to their participating in the protests against the Iranian government. So whether that young women died of heart attack as claimed by the government and police, or died due to the torture by the police, either way the death is unavoidable because nobody expects it. Possibly no similar incidents have happened in the past. But the killing of 70 people who participated in the protest could easily be avoided if they know this divine secret given by God. All the ways created by humans are collectively called satanic ways. So if you stand in favor of a particular religion, you are still in the satanic way. If you start opposing a particular religion, you are still in a satanic way, because Satan has created all these paths. So God creates only one way. Satan creates multiple number of ways. So if you are in a particular way of Satan, the sign of that is you will feel you are right and the others are wrong, and you will feel the urge to oppose them. So that is what all religious people do. That is what all anti-religious people do. So that's the power of Satan. It creates multiple ways so that it makes people fight with each other, kill each other. So it happens not only in Iran, but also it is what's disclosing in Russia-Ukraine war, which we'll be discussing in the next video. Don't miss that. Though it is convincing to believe that those protesters protested against the government to show their support for the death of this 22-year-old girl, but it is the anger that they have inherited from their past births, as well as the anger they have accumulated by reading books of religious and non-religious nature, and by watching movies and listening to provocative speeches that exit out when they get provoked by such incidents. So it is because of the anger that they had within them that they get punished in the end by such incidents. So not everybody takes part in this protest. It is only who have more anger in them that they couldn't control themselves on hearing this news, take to the streets and express their anger in a violent way that made them lose their lives. So that is why God says, in this time of the world, when it is actually nearing the world destruction, so now the only protection you have is humbleness. No matter how violent your environment becomes, you will still be protected by your humbleness. Unfortunately, no religion teaches you how to stay humble when you are served injustice. It is only God who teaches you that. He comes just 100 years before the destruction of this world. He enters an old man's body and he names him Brahma and start giving this knowledge that not only protects you from the dangers of this world, but also fill you with the divine qualities that is essential for you to take birth in heaven. Yes, what follows the destruction of old world is the new world, heaven. This world itself is going to be converted to heaven. So it is because of body consciousness that people get provoked so easily. But it is only for the last 2500 years that we are in body consciousness. Before that, when this world was heaven, for the first 2500 years, we were soul conscious, which means we considered ourselves to be the soul that shines like a tiny star in between the eyebrows, which is why Hindus have this habit of applying religious symbols in between the eyebrows, because that's where we are, that's who we are. This body is just an instrument that is given to us to act out our plans. So while we were heaven in the beginning for the first 2500 years, we were soul conscious, which means we always have the awareness that we are the soul that sees through the eyes, that speaks through the mouth, that listens through the ears, that performs all actions through this body. So basically our concentration is on us, on the true us, the souls. So as a result, we experienced eternal blissfulness, because blissfulness is the true nature of the soul. As long as you are aware of the fact that you are the soul, you can experience that happiness constantly. You experienced it constantly for 2500 years. What happened after that is you become body conscious. You forget that you are the soul, so you no longer have the awareness within yourselves. So you do not experience happiness anymore from within. As a result, you had to depend on the external world for you to stay happy. So that's how you become addicted to sensual pleasures, and then become addicted to the five vices: lust, anger, greed, attachment, and ego, which are collectively called as Satan or Maya or Ravan. While we were in heaven, we were so happy. First, we were so beautiful, we were so healthy that we didn't even have a headache, and we were so rich that we lived in a house made of golden bricks, and the nature was of first quality. So we have absolutely no reason to stay worried. Whatever we see gives happiness, whatever we listen to give happiness, whatever we speak give happiness to others. But in hell, so after the first 2500 years, this world becomes hell when we become body conscious. Then we start committing more and more sins because of our body consciousness. And after becoming body consciousness, we start creating religions. We start writing religious scriptures. No matter how good it appears in the beginning, as time passes by, it will definitely end up creating harm for you. That holds true for all the paths created by humans. That's how you understand it is the path created by humans, and God has nothing to do with it. God comes only in the end. You receive the direct knowledge of God only in the end. God doesn't send any messenger, because when God himself comes, what is the need for him to send messenger? So God reveals about this 5000-year time cycle, when the first 2500 years would be heaven and the last 2500 years would be hell, and what follows hell will be heaven again. So it is a non-stop cycle. So there is a need for God to come only in the end, because it is only by listening to God's knowledge that one become qualified again to enter heaven. So it is only by following the paths of humans for the last 2500 years that this world turned into a dark hell as we live today. So now, after receiving the God's knowledge, you have to renounce the body consciousness and to renounce all the paths created by humans. And God's path is only one, and it is very simple. God says, consider yourselves to be souls again, and remember God also as a point of light, because He is also a soul, which is why He is called Supreme Soul, Param Atma. The only difference between the Supreme Soul, God, and all the other souls is we enter this birth and death cycle. We enter mother's womb in each birth and take a body of our own, while God stays away from this birth and death cycle. He doesn't enter a mother's womb and He doesn't take a body for His own. Instead, He comes in the end because only He has the knowledge to rescue us from this world of suffering. But for that, He needs a body, needs a human body to give this knowledge to us. So that's why He enters an old man and He names him Brahma. That Brahma is being celebrated as Adam in Quran and Bible. So even in Hinduism, it is mentioned Brahma created the world. In reality, it is not Brahma that created the world, because Brahma is an ordinary man like us, but it is God Shiva, who is also called Allah and Heavenly God Father by other religions. It is God Shiva who enters the body of Brahma and gives this knowledge through the mouth of Brahma. So the one who listens to him may initially feels as if the Brahma himself is giving this knowledge. But it is not Brahma, it is God Shiva that is present within him, gives this knowledge. So the world was not created by Brahma as such, but it is created through Brahma. So that is what happens in Bible and Quran, where God creates humans through Adam. So it is not that He created Adam from earth. It's not like that. This world exists all the time. Humans always exist on this planet Earth. What happens in the end is they are so corrupted, so disorganized, that God comes and gives this knowledge to differentiate between right and wrong, to differentiate between the path of humans and the path of God. So that is how He makes us to regain soul consciousness from body consciousness. So it is the body consciousness that was represented as clay in Bible and Quran. So it is from body consciousness God makes us into soul conscious by giving His knowledge, which was mentioned in Quran and Bible as His breath. So if you become soul conscious, then you have no connection even with this body. God says, after giving this, receiving this knowledge from God, you should consider yourself dead to this world, which means you no longer should express all the devilish qualities that you possess by following the paths of humans. So you should be only exhibiting the divine qualities that we develop as a result of reading the knowledge of God, which is called Murli, which is available absolutely free of cost in all Brahma Kumaris Raj Yoga Meditation Center across the globe. It is also available absolutely free of cost in many websites and YouTubes. We will be giving the links of some of them in the description below. Please make use of it. Only that is the direct knowledge of God. So, by considering yourselves to be the souls that is separate from this body and remembering the God as a point of light that shines like a tiny star in the golden red colored light world, that you will find your souls to be filled with the power that we originally possessed in the beginning. So, what will happen as a result of receiving power from God? Now you will no longer be attracted by worldly attractions. You will no longer be provoked by any of these five vices: lust, anger, greed, attachment, and ego. So that will show the accumulation of power by remembering God as a point of light as much as possible. So after receiving this knowledge, you have no connection at all with this old world. So you are there as a soul, and you have only the Supreme Soul, God Shiva, who is going to be your father, your mother, your brother, your sister, your wife, your husband. You are going to establish all relationships with the one Father, God Shiva. That is how you get rid of all the attractions and attachments you have with all other relationships so far. As much as you spend time in remembering God as a point of light, you will feel yourself peaceful. So that reveals the amount of power you have received from God. If you don't, if you become peaceless at the slightest provocation, then it shows you are that weak. So you need to work on yourselves in spending more time in remembering God as a point of light, and also by spending time in not only listening to Murli but also in churning the Murli points that you have read. So the more you keep yourselves busy in remembrance of God and in remembrance of the direct knowledge points of God, which is Murli, you will find yourself not distracted or attracted by anything in this world, by any person in this world. Of course, it takes time and dedicated effort. And it is high time we do this, because what happens in Iran will not take much longer to come to our country. So it actually shows, maybe it shows the brutal regime of a particular country, but it also shows how weak the people are. They get provoked by any small thing. So it is by getting provoked you put yourself in danger. So that is the law of God. You must have come across several videos in several languages saying that you should not enforce strict religious laws on anybody. It is against human rights. But we can't do anything about it. If we are born in certain country, we have no choice. If you start protesting, you will end up risking your life. But if you have the protection of humbleness that comes with being soul conscious, then obviously you are 100% safe. I strongly believe that nobody enforces strict dress code for women to suppress women, but they know the men are becoming more and more weak, that they get provoked so easily sexually by the provoking clothes. So it would be nice if they enforce strict code for men as well, because even women are becoming more and more weak nowadays. But Satan is very intelligent in making you think the other way around, that if men has no dress code, why should we have? Actually, the actual question should be, it is okay that we have a decent dress code, we want it to be for men as well. That should be the actual voice that we should raise. But unfortunately, you can't change the world because it has to become more and more sinful. So, we can only protect ourselves with the protection of humbleness. So, you need to read Murli daily, you need to keep your mind busy with Murli points and busy with the remembrance of God Shiva. So, that is the only protection. You can't change the world, you can't protect the world, you can't protect your religion, but you can protect yourself by detaching from everything that you have been considering to be yours till you receive this knowledge. So now you are just a soul that is even free from this body. Even this body is no longer yours. So God has given this body to make effort to become fully soul conscious. So that is the only reason you have this body in this last birth. And you have only God to be yours. Obviously, He is going to be loving, He is going to be there forever, so you have no reason to worry about. It is because you consider something or somebody to be yours that you get provoked easily and you will find yourself in danger. So that's what happens here in this case. The death of a woman provoked the whole world. And you must remember, no Christian preacher or Muslim preacher is giving the true essence of their religious scriptures. So there is a famous story common to both Bible and Quran about Ibrahim or Abraham, where God asked Abraham to sacrifice his only son that he gives birth to at the age of 100 years. And Abraham, without any worry, was about to sacrifice his child willingly from the bottom of his heart. So then God stops, that's another matter. But here what it implies is, obviously God is not going to take the life of your son or daughter, but somebody else will. It is only if you have no attachment to your son or daughter that you will be able to give up to God whenever He asks for it. So now, such unexpected deaths actually provokes you only if you have attachment. So all religions are basically, they have the essence of the teachings of all religious scriptures is to make humans to give up attachment. But nobody worries about it. They worry about all the external factors like wearing hijab and observing fasting and so on. So thank you so much for spending your precious time for watching this video till the end, and please help spread this message by sharing this video with your friends and relatives if you truly care about their safety, because the world is going to be more and more devilish in the upcoming future, trust me. So it is your constant remembrance of God and constant remembrance of the knowledge points of God, which is Murli, that's going to make you stay humble no matter what the situation becomes, and keeps you safe forever. Thanks again for watching. Please do subscribe and hit on like if you really like this video, and please post your valuable comments so that I can get your feedback. Thanks for watching again.